Hey, Perry Belcher here. I hope you guys are doing great. We're going to talk serious traffic today with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, one of the most brilliant guys I know, especially in the traffic space, and just overall great, smart guy. I've known Reuben Rock for 20 years,
Yeah, about
probably
20 years.
probably 20 years now. And he'll let him tell you what he does. But Ruben has accomplished a great deal of things. He originally worked for me many, many, many years ago when he was in high school and went to school with my daughters and then went on to be instrumental in marketing at Hyatt, AutoZone, Service Master, and then in your own franchise business. And now you do all kinds of other cool stuff. But at your core today, you're a paid media buyer, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've been doing paid media, especially Google Ads, for about 18 years now and really focusing on
Is
running
that
ads
all?
local companies.
Do
Yeah.
you think you're going to figure it out here pretty soon?
Eventually, I'm going to figure out, yeah, how this whole Google Ads thing works. We're going to,
Yeah. And you're running primarily for local, which I find actually really, really interesting. If somebody wants to be a paid media buyer, I think local is a super cool place to do it because of the duplicity element. Do you want to explain that?
Sure. Yeah. So one of the great things about local, I think a lot of people get this wrong when they think about how to start a local traffic agency. But one of the great parts about local is that once you've figured out a campaign for a plumber in, Kansas City, for instance, you don't necessarily, as a next step, want to go out and find other local companies in that area to go and try to figure out their business next. An easier way to do it is just go find another plumber in another city, maybe not Kansas City, maybe Springfield, Missouri, and just run the same campaign for that plumber. And you'll get
Buyer
similar.
behaviors is
Yeah, exactly. Local
keywords are the
markets
same.
are
Yeah.
pretty similar across the board. Bigger ones, smaller ones, there's some differences, but you can basically take the same campaign that you run for a plumber in one city and run very similar setup for a plumber somewhere else.
I know that we're going to be our friends from UpX that are included in our platform are going to be with you and I actually here in just a few weeks, right? In Las Vegas for Traffic World. And that's part of what they do with their software, right? They let you duplicate those campaigns just like with one button, right? And that's the promise anyway. I don't know how accurate that is, but that's the story they tell. But it's all software. Software speak is a different language. You usually have software speak and then reality. But I think they've got a pretty good program over there.
Yeah, no, that's what we've seen too. We've tested UpHex and they have some ad templates that you can use right out of the box to get results for local clients pretty quickly if you're working with some of the more common industries like maybe med spas or plumbers or roofers, something like that. A lot of their templates are ready to go. They've already been tested. They already know that they work in other local markets. So you can just take those and use them for clients in your local market. Yeah, absolutely. That's a big level up.
For a couple questions. So, from a point of talking about the importance of paid media versus SEO versus social versus whatever, you're why do you think I've got my own theories, but why do you think that paid media is so important to have as an element of just about anybody's business? And why do you think people are willing to pay media buyers so doggone much to buy media for them? Because I know media buyers in our business, media buyers get paid more than about anybody because without eyeballs, I always preach that you can't save souls in an empty church, right? So you're without eyeballs, you can have the best offer in the world. But tell me why you think paid media in particular is so important, and then maybe why it's so important to local businesses.
Sure. So when people are searching for a local keyword, chiropractor near me or med spa near me, something like that, they're ready to transact with somebody locally in the near term, right? They want to hire somebody pretty quickly. They've got money in their pocket, it's burning a hole in it, and they need something done.
Yeah.
So they're looking to hire somebody quickly. Those local search terms are extremely, extremely valuable. You can try to dominate those search terms with SEO. There's ways that you can get on the first page of Google. You can use Google Business Profile to show up in the map section. That certainly works. It can take time to show up for some of these search terms. And you're competing against some of the bigger companies out there, Angie's List and Yelp. And at this point, even Reddit is ranking for a lot of local terms. So I think the biggest benefit to advertising is that you can quickly get in front of these high dollar, these high ROI search terms and bring in customers quickly and make a return on investment immediately if you have a local service to offer. If somebody's looking for an emergency plumber in Kansas City, right? and they click on an
They're
ad
not
on Google.
kicking tires, are they?
No, they've
They
got
got a flooded basement. They got water dripping out of their roof like I did.
Yeah, exactly. If somebody's looking for somebody to come tow their car, they might need that service immediately. A locksmith, they might be locked out right now. So one of the quickest ways to get in front of those people is to just run ads. Google makes it really easy to run ads. I know a lot of people think that maybe everyone just scrolls right past the ad results and goes to the local results. Not necessarily. These ads get so many clicks that Google actually rolled out a separate ad program just for local businesses.
54% or something like that go to ads out of local search, I think is the last stat I heard. I don't know if that's still accurate or not.
Yeah, those keywords and those search terms are so valuable that Google rolled out a new ad program just for local businesses. So if you're in certain categories, you can go advertise on Google a little easier than the average business can because Google's rolled out something called local services ads, where you can just basically buy phone calls directly from people searching on Google for a local keyword like plumber near me. You can get them on the phone quickly and just pay Google for the call. So I think paid media is just the quickest way to unlock the high ROI of these local search terms. You should also run it with an organic strategy as well. It's really powerful to do both. Social is a big part as well of local, because if you haven't noticed, every neighborhood in the world has a Facebook group and a next door group. So it pays to be social too. Those are all pieces of the puzzle. But if you want to do it quickly, paid ads is the way to do it. And if you want to do it at scale, if you want to get ahead of your competitors, paid ads is a great way to do that.
There's a great book. I don't know if you've read it or not. It's called Predictable Revenue. It's written by I think the guy that started Salesforce, if I'm not mistaken.
It's been a couple of years. I did read that.
Yeah. And basically the general idea of it is social is you're in vogue today, out of vogue tomorrow. SEO, the rules change today, the rules change tomorrow. He said that really basically the crux of the book, if you want to save yourself $27, is that unless you have a way to drive a consistent amount of traffic to your offers to enough so that you can understand the ROAS, the return on ad spend, or ROAS of that spend, you don't really have a business. You're hoping that people come in. It's a hope strategy. It's a popularity contest. It's not I'm going to buy visitors for $1 and those visitors are going to be worth $3. And I was shocked at like some of the ROI that you get clients in local services, the rest of because we're going to have this is a series of interviews. And I think while everybody might think Reuben's local, so it's little stuff and all that crap. And there's Tommy, that's YouTube killer guy, right? But Reuben, out of everybody, I'm almost certain delivers the highest ROI to clients, local clients, because you've got stuff that gets 8, 10, 15x ROI. That's not the norm, right? I get that. But hell, we don't see anything even in the zip code of that in normal international or national campaigns.
Yeah. No, and it varies by industry, but we have had some pretty exciting campaigns, especially recently, where the return on investment, we haven't even been able to calculate some of it yet, because we're still waiting for numbers to come in. But an average local client starting out with a new campaign may only achieve a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ROI, which I think is still pretty good.
I would kill for that. I would absolutely go out and slaughter people for a 3 to 4-to-1 ROI.
Yeah.
And being able to bring that to a client, how they live without you after that. I know you told me one day the only time you lose a client is if they're just too damn busy, right?
That's one of the reasons. Yeah. Operational costs become a real issue too. And so this is where business owners separate here. Maybe the men from the boys get separated a little bit here. You can take a 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 ROI and still lose money if you have heavy operational costs here. So there's other factors here, but we've had campaigns recently where we're bringing in leads on Facebook for something like a pool contractor he's landing leads for $30-$40 a piece, but these are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 pool jobs that he's bidding on. One of these turns into a job a month and he's paid for his advertising budget for the year.
I used to have a client, I'll never forget this, many years ago. I've never had very many clients. I've never been a client-based guy so much. I own ScaleWin now. We have lots of clients, but I don't deal with those clients. But I had this client, and he was my most successful client I ever had because he built churches. And when he came to me, I said, how many leads do you get? And he said, we get 3 or 4 leads a month. I said, what if you got 10 or 20 leads a month? And he said, oh, we couldn't possibly handle 10 or 20 leads a month, which is just hilarious. And sure enough, we got him more leads. I think we were able to get him leads for maybe $100 a lead. So for a couple $1,000, we got him 20 leads a month. But he's building, an average job for him was like a $2.5 million church build.
Yeah.
So it was like insane. We 2x, almost 3x he had two businesses. He was in the church building business, and he built storage yards for electrical poles for utility companies. Weirdest businesses in the world. And just super weird, but they were both, the storage yard for utility poles business was like a $500,000 deal. His other church thing was a $2.5 million deal. So these guys that have these real specialized things, it's amazing. Traffic to sell cheap things seems to be very expensive.
That's true.
And to sell expensive things tends to be really cheap. At least that's been my find. And
Right.
I know for local, a lot of what you do is a lot of it's in the setup, right? Because I know you have to be set up right to be able to participate in some of Google's campaigns. And I'm still shocked that there's still a big percentage of companies who've never even claimed their Google My Places or their Google Maps. They just never claimed it, which is nuts.
Mhm.
And then you've got the people who don't understand response times and the insurance stuff that you have to put forward. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, the barrier to entry seems relatively low to an experienced business owner who's done this kind of thing before. But what you have to realize with a lot of local business owners is this may be their first go round, and they have not necessarily figured all of this internet stuff out. Those of us who've been on the internet since the dinosaurs were roaming, we understand how to work with
This
Google.
guy.
We know how to put a credit card
Who
in.
used to bump into the dinosaurs?
But a lot of other people, they're just trying to start up a plumbing business, a roofing business. They didn't get into this to try to figure out Google Business Profile, Google Map, Google LSAs, any of that stuff. That's all just random weird acronyms to them. They don't necessarily understand all of that. But there's a lot of money to be made if you can get in and claim your Google Business Profile, and your competitors have not. Like you said, we find a lot of Google Business Profiles that are not claimed. And if you don't know, that is the profile that powers your map listing on Google. That's where if you have reviews from customers, that's where they're going to show up. In a local search, that map section is extremely powerful. A lot of people look at that map section and they're trying to find the right local provider to do the job for them. So if you have not even claimed your profile, filled it out, put photos up there, made it your own, made yourself look like a real local business that someone could do business with, then you're at a disadvantage. If you can get in there and do those kind of basics, you put yourself ahead of the competition pretty quickly. You can take it a step further. You could run Google's local services ads program, which is relatively easy to set up. We still help a lot of business owners do it because, believe it or not, a lot of them get stuck just trying to submit insurance information to Google or pass a background check, which are some of the basics that Google requires for that ad program. You may also have to submit a license if you're in certain industries like water restoration. So
that puts you head and shoulders above
everyone
else, right?
Absolutely.
Just that one registration pushes you. They show those results first and then everything else. And I know response times matter too, right?
Response times absolutely matter. And that's really the next step. If you get all of these hurdles behind you, if you can get a profile up, if you can get some reviews, if you can get Google guaranteed, so you can be running ads on Google local services ads, that's 2 placements right at the very top of Google local searches that you can capitalize on quickly. It's going to drive phone calls to your business. It's going to drive leads to your business. If you've built your website correctly, if your phone is working, it's going to ring. The key here is that you need to answer these leads. We need to respond to these leads in real time or within 5 minutes, if nothing else, right? You're going to lose 80% of the value of your leads in the first 5 minutes if you don't respond to them. They've gone on to the next company in the list. They've called the next plumber. They've called the next roofer, right? They've already moved on. So you need to respond to these leads quickly. Otherwise, you're not going to have the booking rates that you need in order to, continue to stay in the game. Google actually will hold this against you too. This is interesting.
If you believe it or not, I import stuff from China. The suppliers who don't respond back to you get moved down in the response. And now Alibaba was on last night, just for what it's worth. And I don't know if this is available in local yet or not, but I bet it becomes available. So I was on last night buying something from China. It's weird how local and China could be, like, how weird. And I was going through and the top result, I hit the thing to chat with the provider. And it took me to a live room. And the lady looked up and said, "Hi, how can I help you? What are you looking for?" And it was instantaneously. And I thought, boy, I bet they get the lion's share of the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything like that for local yet or not.
I think honestly, a good old fashioned pick up your phone and answer it when it rings.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest deal. And we see the numbers for our clients. We know who's answering the phone, who's not answering the phone, and we can tell when Google's throttling your account because you're not answering the phone. If you're going to bother to go through all the trouble of setting this stuff up so you can capture this local demand, make sure you answer the phone, because you don't want that one thing to be the reason you don't get the maximum return on investment here.
What's a mid-sized market that you work in? Give me an example of a mid-sized market.
Oh, tons of them, man. We're in a whole bunch of them. I personally had a business in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for a while. So that was
Let's say Milwaukee, right? And you're working with carpet cleaners, for instance. How many carpet cleaners in Milwaukee are there? And how many of them are verified, Google guaranteed?
Yeah. So back when I started my business in 2015, I was shocked to find out that there were already more than 100 other carpet cleaners in the Milwaukee area when I started out. That number scared the hell out of me when I first got started. But exactly what you just said. Once I actually dug in and looked at who had claimed their Google business profile, who was getting reviews, how many reviews they had, who was advertising, the herd thinned pretty darn quickly. And I realized that all I needed was like 20, 30 reviews in order to start showing up on Google Maps more often. I didn't need to run a large budget in order to get up there. Really, who I was competing with was like 5 to 10 other companies in town who seemed to understand that digital marketing needed to be a piece of the puzzle.
5 to 10 out of 100
plus.
Yeah, and that's my point. I was in Hawaii, in Kauai, by the way. It was freaking
Beautiful.
unbelievably beautiful.
Never been there. I'd love to go.
You lost your free airline ticket, didn't you?
I've lost free airlines, free hotels. Yeah, I need to get my wife a new job because
That's it.
need
Get her
some
back
travel
in
benefits.
travel. Yeah, I'm joking. But I was in Kauai and I was at the $1 billion seller summit. It's Amazon seller summit. There are something like 3 million, 3.5 million Amazon sellers, but just a few thousand of those sellers control 90% of the market because they know how to play the game. They know the rules. They know how many ratings they need. They buy the PPC advertising within Amazon. They drive traffic from outside into Amazon. They know how to trigger and flux the algorithm. But it really comes down to paid media priming the pump and then optimizing their listings and making sure that they've got good delivery times. And very similar. The whole world is going to this. Alibaba pushing suppliers down that don't answer their DMs. The whole world is going to this performance metrics thing. And I think legal's really leading the way on it. Okay, we're going to run out of time. This is a really good conversation, though. I find local fascinating. I think if you're an entrepreneur, I think it's one of the final frontiers of online entrepreneurship, because you can, if you're willing to do a thing, provide a physical service. And I think you're going to see more and more and more people come out of white collar jobs and decide to go into the service industry because the growth is there. I promise you, my local plumber makes more money than the lawyer that lives next door to him. Probably.
Anybody on Twitter and Reddit is already aware of that. They're already thinking of quitting that corporate job.
You can't find a plumber, but you can't sling. I live in a country club. You can't sling a dead cat and not hit a lawyer
or a project manager,
right? Or a project web guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you give us a trick or two, a couple of hacks that you picked up lately, and then I'd like to talk about what you're going to teach people, because you got 2 hours to teach at Traffic World, where you're going to be teaching a course level certification on traffic, on a 101, not a masterful, but you're going to be teaching a full-blown course functionally on local advertising in your session at Traffic World. It's not just Traffic World's different. It's not like one of these, you go talk for 30, we're going to have 100 people talk for 30 minutes and you're going to get teased and no meat. Talk about a trick or two you picked up lately that people will go, wow, that's thought shifting. And it doesn't have to be a trick. It can be a process, be whatever you want it to be. And then I'd like for you to talk for a minute about what the fundamentals of what you're going to teach there at Traffic World, coming up on June 18th, 19th, and 20th. I got to remember the dates. June 18th, 19th, and 20th in Las Vegas, and available via live stream. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's coming up quickly, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much of the secret sauce, but I'm definitely going to be talking about the local blueprint that we use to dominate the first page of Google for these high ROI search terms. So if you're looking to get your local clients or your own local company on Google and you're collecting some of these valuable leads so that you can actually get out there and make some money, or make your clients some money this year, We're going to show you the blueprint that we've developed at my company that we've rolled out for cleaners across the United States. We've been working on this for a couple of years. The last 2 years, we've really honed in on this blueprint. So I'm gonna walk everybody through that blueprint in detail, covering everything from your Google business profile to what needs to be on your website, how to capture your leads. We'll get into SEO a little bit. We'll talk about Google ads and local services ads, how to advertise your local clients, where you should put your ad budgets, what's been most effective for us. We're going to cover all of that. Some of the little secret sauce that I think a lot of people are not aware of these days. It's really easy to get on Google and start buying keywords. It's easy to get on Google and get Google guaranteed and start paying for phone calls through the local services ads program. And that will level up your business. It will put you in a new higher level of competition, right? You'll be in that 5 to 10 local businesses who are really out there collecting the majority of the leads. But
And those are the guys probably picking up 80% of the business, and everybody else is fighting over the scraps. Is that fair to say?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're fighting over the scraps. And I do a lot of sales calls with local business owners to this day. I hear the struggle. I know the numbers that they're dealing with. And then I talk with the guys who are advertising and I see their numbers and I see how quickly they're growing. It's a stark difference.
There's an HVAC company here in Vegas called Gettle.
Mhm.
And I rode with those guys the other day. They're spending $200,000 a month in Las Vegas in HVAC. Now, Las Vegas, without HVAC, you just die. So it's basically they're more important than surgeons here, right?
Yeah.
But they're spending a couple $100,000 a month, and they're doing $2 million a month in HVAC here in the city, in a city. And I know the guy we talked about, the guy in Phoenix that does a A1 garage door repair guy.
Mhm.
He was doing, when I met him years ago, was doing 700,000 a month just in Phoenix. And now, he's what's the name of the book? I want to read his book.
It's called Elevated. I think it's called Elevated.
Yeah, he's a machine, dude. When I met him, he's erratic as hell, but
Tommy
really
Mello, by the way.
Tommy. I met him here at the Wynn one night, and we had a couple hours together. And man, he's an intense dude. But boy, how brilliant! But that tells you something. $700,000 a month in garage door repair, and I think when he got into that, he didn't know anything at all about garage door repair. We've got a guy in our mastermind group, Moises, who's in the roofing business in Minneapolis. And they do what, $500,000 a month in roofing or something like that?
At least I think they might do more than that. Yeah.
I think it's more than that. He's never been on a roof. He's never roofed anything. He's got a crew and a guy that runs the roofing crew. He said, I ain't get on a roof. I'll fall off there and break my freaking neck. He'll tell you he's a marketer, and his vehicle for monetization is roofing.
And he has other local companies as well, which is a trend I've noticed lately.
Yeah. Well, once you learn how to do that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The same rules that apply to a plumbing company apply to an HVAC company, apply to a cleaning company, to a roofing company, right? If you figure out one local business, if you figure out how to drive leads, take care of customers, keep them coming back, you can do it in other industries, or you can.
Have you ever thought about expanding out to a lot of, has anybody ever suggested to you, Reuben, that you expand out into more profitable? Nobody's ever brought that up to you?
No, we're certainly doing that.
I know you are. I'm just joking.
I started out working with mostly carpet cleaners because I knew that industry really well, but we do work with house cleaners, air duct cleaners, pressure washers, plumbers, a few med spas, a couple other clients as well.
Reuben's been in mastermind for a year or two now, and I can tell you there's a direct correlation between his income and his wife coming to work in the business. It has nothing to do with me or the mastermind or him.
That's the real secret. That's the real secret that I'll share.
It has to do with somebody with brains finally coming to work in the business that can systemize and run things the right way.
You need a guy like me or Perry, and then you need a woman like my wife to bring it all together. Otherwise,
dude, I always say, I have a saying about women in business. Women work while men talk about it. And I swear to God, it's true. I love having women run companies that I'm involved in. I love having women as partners in companies that I'm involved with, because women are so much more efficient than we are. They really, they're
better than me when it comes to communicating and organization. So it's
and everything else.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, that too. I'm giving you a hard time. Reuben's brilliant, and I love his family. They're really good people. Okay, guys. Yeah. So let me talk. I'm going to give my shameless plug for Traffic World. So Reuben Rock will be one of 7. There were 6. We have a mystery guest now that went into the influencer traffic market and did $1 million in her 3rd month in business by leveraging influencers. So that's going to be a little secret sauce that we're going to have there at Traffic World. But Traffic World is coming up June 19th, 2021. You can still get live tickets as of I think, I don't know when this is going to air, but we're very close to being sold out. If we do sell out, there'll still be virtual tickets available, so you can watch the thing virtually. And if you've ever been to one of my events, they're packed, man. They're not fluff. We don't have fluff at these things. This is going to be 6 to 7 2-hour sessions where Reuben gets to take this recording with him when he leaves. This is his to use however he wants in his marketing. He can sell it as a course. He can do whatever he wants to with it when he's done with this session. And he doesn't know this yet, but we're putting up
very generous of you, Perry. Thank you.
But we're putting up some pretty cool prizes. Some prizes for first, second, and third speaker. We're going to have the audience vote. So you're going to be competing. So these guys are going to be bringing their A freaking game. And they're already going to be bringing their A game because they're traffic people in front of other traffic people. Teaching. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, Reuben. What do you charge? Reuben probably charges less than anybody else that we'll have on the panel. What do you charge your average clients?
Our average clients are spending somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a month. And a portion of that is our pay, usually about $1,000 to $2,000 of that. You know what? I'll say our average client's spending a little more than that now because we've really leveled up the clients that we work with over the last year. They're probably spending more like $5,000 a month, and we're charging between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for our services.
And how many clients could you scale to? I don't want to just say how many clients you have right now. It's none of our business, but you with the team that you have right now, you got a couple of outsourced people, and you got your wife helping you and you. How many clients could you comfortably manage?
You can manage a lot. I've managed solo with no employees, maybe a part-time VA, and then crafty use of AI. I've managed up to 30, 35, 40 clients by myself at times. That's pretty manageable if you're doing clients in the same industry. If you have 30, 40 different industries, it'll drive
really
you crazy.
hard, yeah. But if you're talking about 30 or 40, so if these guys learn local traffic, specialize in a niche, it's reasonable to assume with them in a very small team, they can manage 30, 40 clients, maybe bill $50,000, $60,000 a month.
You can do more than that. Yeah. There's been times in my career when a team of 3 plus me has managed about 200 plus local accounts at a time.
Yeah. So guys, I'm certainly not making an income claim, and Reuben said it. I didn't. Reuben said you're guaranteed to make $200,000 of it. No, he didn't say that. I'm joking. But yeah, we're not going to guarantee. You're going to make what you're going to make based on your effort. But the availability is there. So it's super important that you learn paid traffic to grow your own businesses. Super important. But it's equally as important to learn paid traffic if you want to be a service provider, if you want to be an agency, if you want to make money with it. I think you're going to find that the two go hand in hand. Once you get good at running it for your own business, with me, when I do something new, I'm always my first client, right? Because I've got several businesses. So I'll say, we're going to start this business, but we're not going to start it yet. We're going to do this for ourselves first and see how bad we screw it up. And if we get good at it, then we'll go out. But I'm typically beating my head against the wall. You guys are going to have these 7 traffic professionals explaining to you the nuts and bolts of the business, one right after another. So you're going to have a variety of opportunities. So please come to Traffic World June 19th, 20th, and 21st if you can to meet Reuben Rock, the man with the most magnificent mustache in America. Ash LaRue there. So I think you're going to have fun there. Thank you so much for being on, Reuben. And I can't wait to hang out with you at Traffic World. Take care, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Can't wait to see everybody. Thank you.